Hello, welcome back to the Only Fabs channel. So today we're making a pair of offset discs for a tractor puller that's being made called Brute Force. These are our hub plates. These are the bit of tube to offset, and these are the friction discs. These are made out of hardox. I've machined an internal 45 prep on one end of the tube and an external prep on the other end of the tube, so that we can flush things off once they've been welded and still have plenty of hold. Obviously, as you can imagine, being a tractor puller, it's going to have plenty of power driving it forward, so you need to be able to put plenty of power down to be able to brake without anything coming adrift. So basically, I've got this thick bit of 90mm plate out that we have, and I'm going to tack the disc on before I weld it up to stop it distorting as I weld it. So I'll get everything cleaned up. I'm going to set it the other way up, and I'm going to tap these into the tubes first, so that when I turn them over to weld into the big bit of disc, I can weld round the other end to this end as well at the same time, without having to move it backwards and forwards a lot. So yeah, we'll get cracked on.
Right, so that's the prep work done. Now for the real magic. So that's obviously set on that big bit of plate to keep everything right. So now we have an earth. So what I'm going to do, it's nicely tacked. So as you can see there, I've tacked between every stud hole. You might not be able to see from there actually. But yeah, I've tacked in between each hole. So I've put 8 tacks on, and that'll just keep that completely flat. So now I can put my mask on, and I'm going to stitch as well, and then that'll keep that bit right. It's snarled up.
So that's got 16 good tacks on the inside of there. So that will be good enough now for me to weld around the top without it moving. But I'm not going to do that just yet, because I'm going to tack the other one up the same. Because ideally, once I set the big discs on, I want to weld around them both. I'm going to try and offset them on here so that I can give them a chance. And then obviously I'll weld around the top of here where I have the prep. So there you can see, obviously I've put a prep on here that goes around obviously full thing. And then once I welded that, and I can flat that back off with a lathe perfectly flush, and actually skim a little bit off of here as well, so that I know everything's running completely true. Because these are to fit on the back of the hub. So essentially you have your disc, then you'll have your hub plate, so your studs will come through the back of the disc into the tractor half shaft, and then the wheel on the outside, obviously, rather than the half shaft being internal, then the tractor wheel on the outside. So it just means that because that goes on the back, it just makes it so that that's the face that wants facing off rather than the internal face. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same again with the other one. So that again's got me 16 tacks on. So now what I'm going to do is I'll peel that out of the way, because again, I'm ready for facing with the prep on. Now, for all this isn't the flattest piece of metal that we probably have, I know at the moment that these discs are relatively flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these a series of tacks round them as well, so that they don't pull when I weld them up.
That's the reason when I tell you, that going around cutting these tacks off will be much easier than trying to skim a kink or a walk. Because if these walk while I'm welding them, it'll take a lot more sorting. On the lathe than they will. So how would that tackle us?
So now I've got them tacked down, and I know they're not going to go anywhere. We'll fit these in, and they do fit quite snug. Now, just to check there's something like, we'll go around with a square. They all look pretty true, to be fair, which I'm more than happy about. That one's just not quite, which again is why we always double check. So with them being such a snug fit, that's better. You just can't be too sure. Perfect. So again, what I'll do is I'll put 4 tacks on each to start with, just to hold them in place. And then go in between each one. Right, now we're ready for the big weld. Plenty of anti-spatter on, because I don't want to be having to clean all that off as well. Now the idea is whether or not I can pull it off is to start and go all the way around in one go. Because stop start isn't ideal. So what I'm going to do is I'll start on this one, and I'll start from here, and then I stand a fighting chance. So that's both the bottoms welded, and I'm hoping they haven't pulled far, which, don't get me wrong, they'll have moved. I'd be lying if they wouldn't. But we're hoping to eliminate what we can by stitching them up. Some pressure on. Never felt pressure like it.
I think this time what we'll do is we'll do a stitch at far side. That's the second one.
So they're all welded up, just ready for skimming now. Obviously all them marks are outside the way I've had them tacked down so they don't move. But yeah, I'm getting skimmed up Saturday morning. You'll be right. So this little bit here is just a time lapse of me setting it up in the lathe and starting the skim. So first of all I face off the end, and then once I've got the end faced off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to face the tube off as well to make it all nice, and so the job looks right. But yeah, as close as that other one clocked in, I think I'll skim a bit out the inside, I'll skim a bit off that front, and I might even just skim a bit off there, and then it'll be something near enough. Otherwise I'll still be here this time tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
The spark instruction getting that close. So that's the first one, all turned up and nice. I've skimmed the end off, and I've just skimmed a little bit off there. Unfortunately, I can't get to that, I just can't reach. So hopefully that's good enough for what he needs. It is very true, to be fair, so like I say, I face this bit off so that we know that that is complete, it's all true to there. So there's minimalistic movement, so hopefully that's good enough. The trouble is, once I take it out, that's it. It'll never go back in the same again. So you get one shot, and one shot only. So we're on to number 2, obviously. We've clocked it in. The tube, this bit here, is actually a little bit distorted. Hence why I'm just taking a slither off, just to make it completely round and shiny. Yeah, probably a fucking book, I reckon. So all I can say is, if the man who the cause as happy as turning out as I am, then we're all happy. But I'm well impressed so far. I don't obviously do a lot of lathe work, so it's nice to do a little bit for a change. I do quite fancy my own at some point, but maybe what we win first, or even if we made it big on the windshield, I mean, that would help. I might be able to buy myself something similar to this lathe. I'm just having a lend of this one, as it would be, from my mate Henry. It doesn't actually belong to Henry either, it belongs to his granddad. But yeah, we do these things and we have a go, don't we? We make it happen. But yeah, I would love to have more machine work to be able to bring to the channel. That would be the goal. That would be fantastic. You never know, I might even get a bit better at it then as well. The auto feed on these is mint. This is actually Colchester. It is a Colchester Mascot 1600. So if I could find something that's similar with a gap bed, that would be perfect. Because I'd love nothing more than doing a few flower wheels, like for a tractor pulling job. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing these. It was a little bit stressful until I found a lathe, I must admit. I forgot Henry had these. And finding a lathe of such size takes a bit of doing. But there you go. We found one, we're making it happen. And as I say more and more these days, failure is never an option. Obviously just taking a little bit there, I don't want to overdo anything. As you can see, I have got the tool, or the tooling, quite far out of the holder. I've had to make a bit of a half job to be able to get as far in as I am, because this part of the lathe touches on here, obviously at the bottom, so I've had to stick a bit of tooling out in order to get back to where I need to be without fouling or anything, which was a challenge to say the least. We love a challenge, don't we? So yeah, bring you around. You see just there where this part of the bed, is getting very, very close to the end now, which is just enough. And that's why we had to alter where the tooling sits, because otherwise it wouldn't have worked. So then, as you can see, as it's slowed down there, we'll take it down a bit. Now we use it, smooth that bit off, and a bit there. And it's just not quite right, is it? So we will get there. We'll just take a couple more passes. And there we have it, look. The finished product. Not too bad, I don't think, for a man that's not really a machinist. I mean, don't get me wrong, they aren't perfect by any stretch. But, yeah, they should stop job, that's for sure. So here we have the finished product on the tractor. This is the tractor puller brute force, which is going to be of btpa standard, and he's been built by Andrew Wood. He has a Facebook page for the tractor called Brute Force, so if you want to go and give him a follow, you'll be able to see his progress as he goes. And these are Fastrac brake calipers that he's going to be running on the discs that we've made. And if you've got this far, if you haven't already, give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.